Warning, this podcast contains explicit sexual language and should only be listened to at work if you're looking for an excuse to connect with your HR representative. Additionally, all mentions of the word women include cis, trans, NB, genderqueer, gender fluid, and those still figuring it out. Yes, you are welcome here.
Will you open up with me? These pages, they can feed your innermost desires. Do you feel inspired? Are you getting what you need? Are you coming curiously? A secret safe with me. And here you can simply be yourself. Jace reads romance. Come on in, come on in, come on.
Hi, y'all. This is Jace, and you found Jace Reads Romance, a community dedicated to empowering women about sex and sexuality through the reading of romance novels. I didn't realize how much this would consume my life and my reading and resources in my brain. But here we are again talking about forearms. Yeah, it's happened again. I can't stop noticing how descriptive and obsessed authors are. And I do want to apologize. I have had some wonderful feedback. I have nothing against forearms. I think a forearm can be very sexy. It's true. However, I think that the amount of adjectives, the amount of words given to mentioning forearms seems out of proportion for the effect and the impact that forearms have on intimacy. I am back with Sephi, who is already laughing her fucking face off.
I mean, that's partially because I got a little bit of a teaser beforehand, so I kind of know part of what's coming up.
But I have a lovely progression of forearm quotes. Y'all, this isn't actually all of them. As I've been collecting them, once I got to page 3, I said, ooh, maybe we should stop. So these are just from the books that I've read from January until April, the beginning of the month. I had to stop. Because that's just too long. And I guess there needs to be a part 3, or whenever we launch our membership, forearms are going to be a special perk of the package. Your monthly forearm dose.
Monthly dose of forearms.
Monthly dose of forearms. So keep that in mind. But we're going to go from light toward a theme that is the veins in the forearms. And I will say that I don't, it's not going to be as phallic, the centered conversation. This is just us enjoying the descriptions of forearms at this point, because the point has been made. Forearms can be very phallic. Let's enjoy this. So we're going to go from maybe the least naughty to let's talk about the veins in the forearms. And I hope that you enjoy this. I've also found that rarely have I read a book where there are only 2 descriptions of forearms. It's either 1 or 3. So you're either mentioning it or you're obsessed.
So it's like that scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail with the holy hand grenade. Like it has to be.
As we went through, there's actually, okay, that's a lie. There's one book where and to be fair, it's entirely possible I missed one, but this. I've actually sent this one to Sephi. She doesn't know what's going to happen, but she kind of knows what's going to happen. Okay.
Oh, no.
So we're starting off light and fluffy. This quote is from Icebreaker, and it's not about forearms. It's about the effect of something we talked about last time, the rolled up sleeve. Rolled up sleeves are a JJ classic. He insists it's the sluttiest thing a guy can do, and it has 100% success rate. I fucking hate it when he's right.
I mean,
So you
okay,
haven't read.
he has a point. Although I'm going to counter because I have
Yeah.
not read Icebreaker yet, and I know that you are mad at me about that. Mad in quotation
It's
marks.
fine. Apparently, you won't think it's spicy because it doesn't have kink. Vanilla people have spice. Vanilla spice is spice.
Vanilla spice is spice, but I'm gonna counter that with gray sweatpants. Could be the sluttiest
Which are
thing.
also an icebreaker. There's a pair of gray sweatpants and icebreaker.
Yes.
I don't. Okay, y'all. Full disclosure: I don't understand the gray sweatpants. I don't get it. I know it's a book talk thing. I know people are obsessed with gray sweatpants.
It's not just a
My
book talk thing.
Apparently it's a few. I don't know. I have never been aroused by a pair of gray sweatpants.
It's a lot of gray sweatpants on guys tend to showcase
A dick really well. I think that's all sweatpants, though. I feel like it's all sweatpants.
I think they focus on gray because gray is a neutral, generic color that a lot of guys own. So I don't know. Apparently, like gray sweatpants is equivalent to sundresses for women, I guess.
You know what? I'm going to trust y'all. I'm going to trust your taste. Your taste is different than my taste. If I saw a dude in gray sweatpants, I'd be like, wow, did you buy those at Costco? Nothing wrong with Costco, but like, you should have bought navy. Navy's a better color, a better neutral. I think navy's a better neutral. Not the point. Okay, no. So that's our just step into the world of forearms. We talked about, and it's not even the act of rolling up the sleeves, because I get that. I get, seeing someone like a guy take off their tie, or a girl remove the sweater, or like the suit jacket. There's something really fun about that removal of, the thing that makes us civilized. But this is just apparently, here, I have rolled up sleeves. Behold my forearms. So that's where we're starting. Next is, it's actually my two. It's my two for quote, but one quote is about his forearms and the other one is a question that I have. And so it's a question that I've asked Steffi. So the first one is, Corvina ignored the view outside for a moment, watching his muscled forearms exposed under the sleeves that were pushed back, his skilled, wonderful hands mastering the car like he mastered the instrument he loved so much. Piano is the instrument. If you don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, the piano. She's seen him play piano, which is why I feel like I must have missed some sort of forearm quote earlier when he was playing piano.
I feel like
I missed it. So don't hold me to Gothicana only having two. I just only have two on my list. But this is a question. Okay, so it is about forearms, but then there's a question I have about this. She also apparently likes to start with names. Corvina looked at the arm with ropes of muscles and a smattering of dark hair. It was a forearm she recognized, having fantasized about it often enough during class when he leaned on the table with his sleeves pushed up. How do you fantasize about a forearm? That's my question.
I mean, that's not generally the part of the body I fantasize about. I'm just going to toss that out there.
I mean, I get it if it's part of a whole scenario, but she's specifically saying, I fantasize about the forearms.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That confused me.
I mean, you could grind on it, which would sound awkward. It sounds like it would be awkward.
Anyway, so this is my question. Like, is just this view of his forearms enough to get her going? And maybe the answer is yes. Maybe it's yes.
Maybe.
But I could not create a picture in my mind of what fantasizing about a forearm looked like. There was no picture in my mind where I went, ooh, yes, that forearm. Unless it was part of the larger package. But she doesn't say larger package. She just says, I fantasize about the forearm.
Right.
Okay. So here's the next one. It's from A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. And I am excited because I know that she's got a bunch of other books. And I wonder if forearms are going to be a thing in her series.
Ooh.
So keep me posted. Keep me posted, y'all, if you've read Alyssa Cole more than I have. But this is and the forearms. Here's something that enhances my forearm experience. He wore dress pants and a finely woven shirt with some kind of hexagonal pattern in red, black, and yellow that almost distracted from the smooth, dark brown skin of his forearms. So
Okay.
it's not a really good description of forearms, but I like that. I liked it because, like, clearly forearms were more exciting than this very bright shirt. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, so I'm like, ooh, what does a good forearm mean to you?
Well, it almost sounds like she's more, or the person is more focused on the skin of the forearms as opposed to actually the forearms themselves.
I guess, but I was like, oh, what must his forearms look like
Right?
for you to? So I mean, the thing that I liked about that is everyone can picture their ideal forearm.
Yeah.
And what is your? This is a general question because I know what Seffi says, but general question, y'all. What does your ideal forearm look like? I want to know. Okay, I split up this book because there's one that doesn't contain the word veins and two that do. So this is Nocticadia by Carrie Lake and Julie Belfield. I dared a glance and found him staring at the ground, frowning, his hands tucked into his pockets, sleeves rolled up over those exquisite forearms she'd captured in her photo. Exquisite forearms.
Exquisite.
But like that's just such as like a penultimate word
Yeah.
to describe forearms.
Right. Like you describe like art as exquisite, or a woman who is like in a woman or a man or whoever in a beautiful dress or suit or whatever, you describe them as exquisite.
Yes. Yeah. This is it. This is the thing. Is like the amount of time and the language used for forearms is so surprising to me. I'm gonna keep it coming. I mean, authors keep writing it because I'm gonna keep reading it.
Right.
I don't agree with you, but I'm gonna keep reading it.
Maybe by the time we are done, whenever that may be, you'll get to that point where you're like, okay, I see it now.
I'll be a convert.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, like I think forearms for me do not make or break someone. When I see a beautiful forearm, I appreciate it, but it isn't the thing that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I've talked about it.
Yeah.
And I'm sad that it's not talked about as much in these books. It's going to take me months, and it's going to take me like a whole year to be able to do an episode on the body part that I like best. I'm a little upset about that. Okay. Okay. So these last two quotes are, I guess, how I feel. One is from Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. And if you know Lynn Painter, she doesn't write really explicit sex. So forearms, I guess, is as far as she's going to go, since she's not going to talk about a cock. He leaned his tanned forearms on the counter. How the hell did he have sexy forearms, for God's sake? I understand how someone has sexy forearms.
Right.
This is apparently someone who has seen the forearm that will appeal to her for the first time.
Yes.
Congratulations. And also probably someone who like didn't realize forearms were sexy.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming to appreciate the body part.
I get it. I see it. If you are faced with, oh wow, you're the exception to my rule, totally fine.
Yes.
All right. Twisted Lies by Anna Huang has the next one. And I'm pretty sure Anna Huang was in the first episode, and she's got 2 books in this episode. So she's someone who likes to mention a forearm.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but enough. Enough. So this is from Twisted Lies. His jacket lay on the seat next to him, and he'd pushed his shirt sleeves up to reveal his watch and tanned, muscular forearms. How had I not realized how sexy forearms were until now?
But see, here's the thing though. That's like an addition, like that's the person that they find sexy. So
that's it. I think it's the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
It could also be, and here's the thing, when you meet that person, everything about them can be sexy. You're like, I've never liked forearms before, but I like you, and you have forearms, so therefore I like your forearms.
Exactly. Exactly.
Logic me this. So I do wonder sometimes if it's I'm going to be turned on by everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, this body part that I've never thought of suddenly becomes attractive to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's possible. That's a good possibility.
It's entirely possible. So now we're moving into part 2. Part 2, which is all about veins. I don't know why, but all the books, not all the books, but a good portion of the books I read from January through March have some big, old, veiny forearms. I think it's phallic. However, I also know that when you do strength training, you can get some good old veins going.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, I think it's a strength thing. You're working on it. And I will say, some people are just veiny regardless, or, you know, they grip something too hard and suddenly their veins pop out. It's not because they worked at it. You can work at it, but sometimes it's just part of your genetic makeup. So no judgment. Y'all, people, these are all about men this time, but so I'm going to speak to men. Like, men, if you can't make your veins pop because that's not how your genes work, don't worry about it. Clearly, you're talking to a person who doesn't give a fuck about the veins in your forearms. So, I will say the point of grip strength is, and that to me feels like hands. And I do have some hand quotes that that's not happening today. I can't give you everything. I can't just blow my load in this episode for y'all.
You're such a tease.
I am. Seppi, don't expose my kinks to the world, please.
I'll try to refrain. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're moving into veins. So every single quote has a mention of veins in some way, shape, or form. First thing we're going to do is hop back to Nocticadia. 2 more quotes. This was a three-fer book. So Carrie Lake, Julie Belfield, y'all love some forearms. These authors love some forearms. Let's just put it out there. You mentioned it 3 times in your book. He made a grumble. Just your face, Seppi. He made a Control yourself.
Okay.
He made a grumbly humph in his throat, like he doubted me. And breaking his staring, he shoved his book and notes into his bag, along with my signed NDA, unavoidably drawing my attention to the map of veins in his forearm, where he'd rolled his sleeves up. I know it took a lot of sentence to get to the vein forearms.
A lot of sentence.
Because it feels kind of out of place because it's the middle of a sentence, but also it's a really long fucking sentence. So, yeah, noticing some veiny ass forearms. And that's it. They're just described as veiny, which also the absolute bitch in my mind is like, maybe he has skinny veiny forearms. You don't know.
These pencil thin arms, and you just see the veins, and oh man.
Again, it's genetics. Sometimes it's genetics. They're not muscular.
No.
You don't know, y'all. You don't. So this is apparently she has a thing for when Professor Bramwell gathers up his notes, because that's literally how the next little paragraph starts.
Oh my God.
I know. As Professor Bramwell gathered up his notes, I forced myself to ignore the way his muscles bulged at his biceps whenever he bent his arm, or the way he'd rolled up his sleeves to expose the map of veins in his forearms.
Okay, I think this author is like wanting to hunt for treasure, because that's the second time she's used the map analogy.
Yeah, like This is where authors, I'm going to be your worst fucking nightmare. I read a lot and I notice shit. There were two books. They were not written together. They're not in the same genre, but they're by the same author. And this author used the word abuse to describe masturbation in both books. And I was like, oh, this is your thing. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I've got you. It's such an antiquated term, and to my mind implies also like religious trauma, which
that's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
Which is so funny because religion is not mentioned at all in these books. There's nothing about it, but I noticed it in the two books. Sorry, you use the word abuse, and they've got another book coming soon. So I'm going to read that. I'll let you know. And it's the MMC in both books. Does the MMC abuse himself in this book as well?
Just sounds bad. Like it sounds wrong.
It's really funny. I think it's really funny that that's what you're using to describe a dude jerking himself off. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. Michael, you don't have to keep that at all. Okay. 5,000 Nights of Obsession by Drethy A. This is a short one. It's a short one. Mind confuddled. Yes, confuddled is the word. I did not misspeak. My gaze languidly traveled up the veiny forearms.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a confuddled mind.
Guess all she can focus on is just the lines.
I guess. I don't remember where this happened in the book. I apologize if she's drugged or drunk at this point, because it's entirely possible if you are aware of that book.
Mm-hmm.
But that is just a funny moment. Yeah.
Okay, back to the vein thing. Just is getting me. Like, I know why I like them, but the moments that you're picking out and reading don't match it. Like at all.
We are almost done. I'm very proud of us. This is going to be an actual like miniature-ish episode. Maybe. I know, we've gotten so good at this.
When we're on a time crunch.
Back to Anna Huang. This is Twisted Hate, which is book 3, as opposed to Twisted Lies, which is book 4 in that Twisted series. But this I kind of get. Josh rolled up his sleeves, revealing tanned, lightly veined forearms.
Okay.
That is practically tame.
Yeah.
Practically tame for everything. And it involves that rolling up the sleeves thing.
Yeah. Which I love it. I don't quite understand why I love it.
I think it's the removing of civility. I do.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Like you would never go to work with rolled up sleeves. Would never, if you're wearing a suit, it's not professional. You're wrinkling your clothes. But if you are able to roll up your sleeves and get dirty, like you're expecting to get dirty. You're not expecting to walk away from this.
Yeah.
To the last book. The last book is a threefer. Amelie Howard, you like some veiny forearms. You do. In Never Met a Duke Like You, you mention it 3 times. First quote. Her cheeks heated as her eyes inched upward from his hands to take in those strong forearms, roped with veins and dusted in crisp, dark hair.
Well, there she uses strong. So that's kind of given the idea.
given the idea, but also I don't know what strong looks like. What does strong look like to you? This is where I do like the kind of ambiguous, like what does strong look like for you? You might be thinking there's some massive girth around there.
Yeah.
I might be thinking, just in general.
Yeah.
Rather larger than my own. I mean, to be fair, it's not hard to be larger than my forearms. I have skinny arms. But the skinniest wrists imaginable. Like even I can get my fingers all the way around my wrist. If your cock is bigger than my wrist, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Every single time I come across a moment when they're like, I couldn't get my fingers around his penis. I'm like, the note is nope, too big.
Ouch.
Too big. Or I love it when it's like, I'm so wet, he slips in, but then he has to fight. I'm like, well, how is he so slippery he can just slide in, but also he's so big he has to fight? Those don't work for me.
That's not conducive to the same thing.
We are totally digressing. Anyway,
yes,
this is about forearms, not unrealistic descriptions of how a penis goes in a vagina.
Although maybe future show idea.
Future episode. I don't know, y'all. I would just I think I would have to buy some of the toys Courtney and I talked about and be like, example! So
we got this.
We've got this. Just to clarify, the first quote happened in the attic. So y'all know what to expect from the second quote, which starts with, thanks to their time locked in the attic, she knew what those naked forearms looked like, too, ripped and corded with muscle. Enough! Stop drooling over his dreaded arms.
Hey, at least she's
it didn't mention veins, but it's connected to the one.
Yes, yeah. Well, and the corded kind of gives the idea of veins,
oh God, I do the enough.
She's like, stop! Why are you doing this?
I mean, this is a historical romance novel. This is, I'm supposed to be virgin before marriage and all of that kind of stuff, which she isn't. That doesn't happen. If you didn't know, that did not happen. That does not happen in this book.
Hey, our Victorian ancestors were way more active than we give them credit for.
I mean, this isn't a bodice ripper where they wait until marriage and then suddenly they discover what sex is. This is great. That is a book that if you haven't been following on social media, I really enjoyed. There was a lot of enjoyment in that book, and everything that has happened including the next quote, happens before marriage. Enjoy. The Duke stilled, his face taut with strain, those muscled arms and veined forearms holding his large body poised above her.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually paints a pretty good picture. I can see that.
It's a great picture.
It's a great picture.
This is my this is why it's last. This is my favorite one because it also is during sex. And, and there's a reason for the strain and the veins and the power. You're like, oh man, I get it. I totally get it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I like that quote. I like that one.
It's not as good as his cock was as veined as his forearms.
No, definitely not. I had almost forgotten about that. Thank you.
How could you forget? I have read another Sadie Kincaid book this month, so it's not in this episode, but Sadie Kincaid also likes her the book that I read is a threefer. It is a 3 on the
Oh,
forearms. I know. I know. I get to meet her at the conference.
yay. That's so
Very
exciting.
excited. I know. I'm terrible. Um, so that's it. We have part 2 of forearms, where we go from acknowledging that forearms are sexy to the veins in the forearms. And I hope that this entertains you. If you are someone who loves a good forearm, I hope this turned you on. And let me know if we need to do a part 3 or if that's something we should save for when our membership opens. That's it for today, y'all. This has been a 3 Paws Productions podcast. Our producer is Sephi. Michael Achenbach is our patient editor. Our theme song is written and performed by Diana Weishauer. You can find show notes and so much more at jacereadsromance.com. That's JAYCE Reads Romance. Follow along on TikTok and Instagram at Jace Reads Romance. If you'd like to ask a question or share a story for the podcast, call and leave a message at 661-JACE-RR. That's 661-529-2377. Or send an email to jace@jacereadsromance.com. Finally, like and subscribe so you can get every episode when they drop. You can also leave us a review to help others find us. And remember, this is Jace holding space for you.